What is up? Need for Speed Racers. It is I, your wheelman, Alex Cornnut. We're here today with Billion Dollar Builds, episode 8, where I take $1 billion, I build every car in the game in every class that those cars fit in, so that way no matter what car you want to drive, I've got you set up and taken care of. Today, it is the Audi RS6 Avant, the new car from the Speed Pass. This one is part of the paid DLC. The S5 and the R8 are not, but this Audi you do have to pay for. So if you don't have it, no worries. It's decent, but it's not game breaking like the R8 is. So no worries if you don't. If you want to support the devs, show them some love for Need for Speed, I'm with it. If not, that's not your thing, no worries. I'm neutral on that either way. Let's dig into it. Let me show you the build we've got. I've got A+, S, and S+ stacked out for you. A+ and S+. We've also got some drift builds, so that way if you want to slide, we got you set up as well there too. All right, cool. Let's go. We'll keep it fast, keep it tight. All right, the A-Class build is got the first engine over, the 7.0 liter V8. That's the engine we build on for majority of these. It's pretty damn cracked. So iron basic 425 basic engine is what we start with. For the parts, pretty simple. You're gonna go sport, bronze, induction, and then you leave everything else alone. Iron basic ECU, iron basic fuel system, and exhaust. And then you're gonna put the silver pro roots supercharger. We couldn't add any more power because it just took it out of the class, so silver pro is what you get. But honestly, it's not bad. A-Class is probably the worst of the cars, so it's lackluster, but if you wanted to build it at all classes, this is how you would do it. We run sport bronze nitrous, no room for the bottle. And then as we do for those Grippium builds, my boys know what's good. It is the Elite Platinum Road suspension. We keep the stock brakes, that's Silver Pro, and then we run the Elite Platinum full Grippium tires. We do get the gold clutch in this car, so you're going to keep the super gold and then tier the transmission down. Make sure you go Silver Pro 6-speed transmission, only way it fits in the class. And then Elite Platinum differential, you'll see that on all the builds, but if it's got a lower handling coefficient, sometimes you can get away with a bronze or a silver. But in this case, we've got 100% grip, so go all in on it, boys. Auxiliaries, they don't work. They haven't fixed them. Maybe they'll do a hot fix. Probably not, but anyway, they don't work, so don't worry about buying those unless you plan on re-equipping them and changing them before you take the car out of the garage, and then never changing your car again, otherwise everything stops working. So save your money. Handling slider, full Beyonce on the grip, all the way to the left, 100%. Steering sensitivity, that's personal preference. I like 2 clicks high, you do you. Downforce, go all the way high, back it off 1. Last 2 clicks is 208 and 209 right there. Anything less than that's A+ 210, so you get the last 2 to play with. If you go all the way high, it's 208, and there's nothing you can do with that extra point. I couldn't put any more power into it. We tried a lot of different configurations. Basically, it's just a dummy point, so just back it off. Get that sweet 209 so it looks like you got a full build. It doesn't matter. Traction control off, drift entry is brake tap. This car is probably the most lackluster out of all of them. It just doesn't do that good at A-Class. 168 is the top speed. It'll do about 170 eventually. It's not in a hurry to get there. It just doesn't quite have enough sauce to get it going. 520 on the horsepower, 589 on the torque. Overall, I like this car, but not at A-Class. Let me show you a little sauce we've got though at A+. A+ is the sweet spot for this car. I'm going to show you both the drift and the grip right now in this singular take because honestly, they're not so different and we don't have to change any parts to make it work, which is sick. Alright, so the engine is the first engine over, the 7.0 liter V8, 425 brake horsepower when we start. Iron basic engine. There's 2 of the 7.0 liter V8s. Make sure you guys are getting the first one. Otherwise, you're going to be in my comments. Oh, Cornnut built the car. They must have updated it. It doesn't work anymore, and I just can't follow instructions. Please, guys. Every video, all the time. Anyway, so for the parts, this is going to be the same for both builds, so just set it up the way you want. It is gold super induction, and then silver pro ECU, iron basic fuel system, iron basic exhaust, elite platinum screw supercharger, absolutely, and then sport bronze bottle of NOS, elite platinum road suspension, and then you run the stock silver pro brakes. If you are a drifty boy, run the road tires. That's what Sly QT was running when he was testing. He says it's not all that great, he didn't love it, but that's what you're going to set up for drift. If you're running the grip version like we all do, most of us, what I do, you're going to run the grip tires. Same. So drift, road tires, grip tires. Easy clap. You guys got this. And then super gold clutch, as we do. And then pro silver 6-speed transmission. Easy. So the build's the same for both. Elite platinum differential, you need to have that in the car to make both ends of the spectrum work, depending on how you want to set up the car. So here's the deal. If you put on the road tires, the slider will go all the way to 40% drift. Slide says run it at 20%. So we're good here. But if you have the road tires on, that handling slider goes a little further. So feel it out, see what you like if you're 20 or 40% on the drift side of things. If you are a grippy boy, you're going to run it all the way to the left and you're going to do 80% grip. Both builds use 100% full downforce, so that way it works. So that's it. It's like if you're a grip, run it to 80. If you're drift, run it to 20 or 40 depending on preference with the road tires. This is one of the few times that the car doesn't really get any noticeable changes depending on what slide or what side of grip or drift we go on. Traction control off, drift entry, brake tap. That's it. That's the A+ variant of this. I do have an off-road version I'm going to show you really quick, and then we'll get into S-Class. The off-road version is got a little more power than the other one, but it's not enough to really make a huge difference. But if you're going to run an off-road scuff track with those lines, that suspension and tire setup does help. So here it is. It is the same engine we've been building on, guys. 7.0 liter V8. That's the dominant motor for this particular engine. It is the first engine over, iron basic. 425 brake horsepower when we start. For the parts, it is now Elite Platinum induction. It's still Silver Pro ECU, and then Iron Basic, both fuel system and exhaust. We do switch over now. We are running the Elite Platinum Roots supercharger because we needed that to make it all fit. And then it's Sport Bronze Nitrous. We switched to full off-road kit, so it's Elite Platinum off-road suspension, Silver Pro brakes, and then Elite Platinum off-road tires. We didn't get all that many extra points to make it work, and so all we could do was really tier up the induction to make it go. And then the clutch and the transmission stay the same. We're still running the Silver Pro 6-speed transmission. And then for the diff, guys, you can run just the Sport Bronze if you want to save some money on this deal. Auxiliary, don't worry about it. As we know, those don't fix. It is 30% grip to make this configuration fit in the car with that amount of horsepower. It's all about cramming as much power into the car as you can. The Audi still handles pretty good, and if you're doing the scuffed off-road lines, more power is going to be able to pull you through the dirt a little easier. So slide the slider to the left, 30% grip. Steering sensitivity, you do you. Downforce all the way high. Nowhere else you can put it for it to fit. This is basically like max kit that we can get for this car in this class with this configuration. Overall, does pretty good. 788 on the horsepower, just a little bit more than what we have for the regular road build. 834 on the torque. This does pull pretty well through the dirt. I don't want to dispute that in any way. So if you're doing track day special, long climb, Buena Vista, any of those where you can really cut the track, this does get it done. But for my general driving of this car, I'll probably be using the road version the most. But I want to give you guys a lot of different options so you can do what you think is best for your play style. Let's dig into S. This pays serious homage to the B-Class rally car, or the Group B, if you will. Super cool car. It really dominated when it first hit the scene and was probably one of the contributing factors to why they stopped doing Group B, because they were just getting way too spicy with it. So I think that kit on this car looks really cool. That's why it's in the thumbnail. Let's dig into it. S-Class is a little underwhelming compared to the A+ class, but it does still do okay. So this build is super similar to what we've been doing in the previous tiers, so stick with me on this one. First engine over, 7.0 liter V8, 425 brake horsepower when we start. That is the Iron Basic engine. First engine, don't do the Sport Bronze, it won't work. Parts, it is Silver Pro induction, Silver Pro ECU, and then it's Elite Platinum fuel system and Elite Platinum exhaust. And you made that up to the Elite Platinum screw supercharger. So if you've been following along, we're really not spending a whole lot extra money to get this into the S-Class. And so once you've got the car, if you did buy the DLC, you don't have to pay a lot extra to go experiment with it in different classes. So that's kind of great. I do love that about the way this car is being tuned up. We are running Sport Bronze bottle of NOS, Elite Platinum road suspension for my grippy boys, stock brakes, and then Elite Platinum grip tires. stock clutch, and then we continue the trend of the Silver Pro 6-speed transmission. 197 is the top speed in S-Class, which is perfect, gets you right where you need to be. The other ones take it well out of the class. And then for your differential, guys, make sure you are running at least the Super Gold to make it fit in the class. But if you buy the Elite diff, it'll always fit no matter what you do. Auxiliary, we don't worry about it. Slide the slider all the way to the left, back it off one. That is 95% grip, so almost full Beyonce. Steering sensitivity, do whatever you like. Downforce all the way high. That is going to keep it at S329. Traction control, and then I run brake tap. Traction control off. Now, drifty boys, all you're doing for the change on this is what Sly QT was testing. He said it was kind of that sweet spot. We're not running drift tires. The car gets a little wild. Run the road tires. Once you've got the road tires on there, take your handling and slide the slider to the right, and that's going to give you one extra point to play with. So take your downforce and go one click to the right of center. So we've changed to road tires for the drift setup, and then downforce is one click to the right of center. That is S-Class 329, and that is going to be the drift build for S-Class for this car. Both of them get it done. I prefer grip. Some of you guys are going to be drifty boys, so do whatever fits best for you. If you feel that you don't have enough in the drift game, you can run the drift tires and try that. The drifters really didn't think that was necessary. They thought the road tires were good enough, and it does help with getting those micro drifts because the Audis are a little finicky getting that to initiate. But either way, do what you guys like to do there. I really try to set it up so here's what we can do. You choose what's best for you, and that gets us all on the same playing field. I'm going to put the car back to the way I need it so that way when I go drive it later, it'll actually be in the right spot. That is the S-Class. Let me show you what we've got for S+. There's only one engine that's really worth building on, and I'm about to show you that right now. S+, no memes today because a lot of people are gonna actually want to build this car into S+, so let me just show you what's good and we'll see what we come up with. Guys, I bought all the engines out. They all have Elite Platinum parts across the board, plus the screw supercharger as our baseline. The last engine's the hybrid. It doesn't have the torque. It doesn't have the horsepower. We scale back. The V12's not bad. It's got 5 more horsepower, but we are trading hundreds of foot-pounds of torque. It's not worth it, and we're not getting any additional speed out of it. So honestly, when you go through all the engines, you guys, the only one that really comes close is the same engine we've been building on. It is the 7.0 liter V8, the very first engine over. It's the engine that really makes this car go the fastest, has the best top speed potential, most horsepower, most torque, no questions asked. It's the one to go with. Now, I run the screw as a default because it's going to give you the most low-end power coming out of the corners. That's what you want on a lot of the Corner King tracks. You're not walking a Regera in this, you guys. It's going to beat you in any speed list, period. So play to your strengths, stay on the short track. You might actually be able to do something with it. That being said, if you want to get spicy with it, the single turbo is probably going to be the only alternative because you actually gain 39 horsepower, but you are trading 130 foot-pounds of torque. Not a great trade, but it does bring your mile per hour up just a little bit, and it redline tax a little higher. So with boost, it'll do close to 240, but you're sacrificing kind of everywhere else to make it work. I would say probably no go on the single turbo, but it's out there. That's the information I can give you guys. But if you're going to build it into S+, probably run the screw. When it's all said and done with all Elite Platinum parts across the board, as I do with grip tires, you're going to end up with 1201 on the horsepower, 1170 on the torque. It's not competitive, really. Like the Audi R8 in S+ has its place in the world. It does handle really specifically. It's a lot of fun to drive. The thing grips and rips. This one not so much, but here it is just in case you guys wanted it. Please like the video if you haven't yet. Really helps me out, gets the algorithm going, puts it in front of other people so they can get the best builds as well, so that way everybody's on the same playing field. A lot of new people are coming to the game with Volume 6 coming out, and so we want to encourage those guys to know where the one-stop shop is for all the best builds. And if you guys are looking for people to race with, I got a really active community for Need for Speed. In addition to that, I stream and race with anybody who wants to race. We have a lot of fun. Last night's stream was a little wild. Did a 1v1 with another content creator that thought he was pretty hot stuff and was talking some trash on me, and we humbled that guy. 9-1 was my record with him, so he did get me in one race when I crashed, but I got him on the other ones. It was a lot of fun. So if you like the spice, come and check me out on stream. It's good times. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. I don't have a channel without viewers, and so thanks for watching and hanging out. Subscribe if you're not. That helps me out. Clicking the like button helps me out. And if you want to go a step above that, you can follow me on Twitch. You can become a member on the YouTube channel, become a subscriber on Twitch. You can donate to the Patreon. You can just do a regular donation or a super chat. It all helps in any capacity. You can be a part of it. But outside of that, just hanging out with me is enough. I thank you. You guys have a great rest of your day. See you next time. Bye-bye.